The year is 1776. For a decade, the American colonies have been fighting for independence from Britain, and today is a very big day. Here's why. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're celebrating American Independence Day. And what better way to do that than by taking a look back at how it all began. Get ready for epic tales of daring revolutionaries, shocking acts of defiance, and powerful moments that changed the course of history. All right, let's get started. Scene 1. Life in the colonies. In the early 1600s, European settlers, mostly from England, crossed the Atlantic Ocean to build new lives in America. Over the next century, 13 colonies grew along the eastern seaboard. They were lively, productive, and proud of their communities. But life was not free. Britain controlled trade, imposed strict laws, and expected loyalty without question. Taxes flowed across the ocean, yet colonists had no representatives in Parliament. Many began to feel they were being treated not as citizens, but as subjects. Their frustration gave birth to a rallying cry. No taxation without representation. A simple phrase, but one that would spark a revolution. Scene 2. Tensions rise. In 1765, the Stamp Act forced colonists to pay for government stamps on newspapers, documents, and even playing cards. Anger boiled. Crowds protested in the streets. Merchants refused British goods. Then, in 1770, tragedy struck. British soldiers fired into an unarmed crowd, killing 5 men in what became known as the Boston Massacre. To the colonists, it was proof of British tyranny. 3 years later, another act of resistance made history. Dressed as Native Americans, patriots boarded British ships and dumped crates of tea into Boston Harbor. This was the Boston Tea Party, a bold statement that the colonies would no longer obey unfair taxes. Scene 3. Britain strikes back. Britain's response was swift and harsh. Parliament passed the Intolerable Acts, closing Boston Harbor and placing Massachusetts under military control. Soldiers patrolled the streets, and freedom seemed to vanish overnight. But instead of dividing the colonies, Britain's punishment united them. In 1774, delegates from 12 colonies gathered in Philadelphia at the First Continental Congress. For the first time, they spoke with one voice, demanding rights and preparing for resistance. Scene 4. The war begins. In April 1775, British troops marched to seize colonial weapons stored in. On the way, they were met by local farmers and tradesmen at Lexington. The two sides faced off in tense silence. Suddenly, a shot rang out. No one knows who fired first, but that single musket blast became known as the shot heard round the world. Skirmishes broke out across Lexington and ordinary men stood against the world's strongest army. The American Revolution had begun. Scene 5. Declaring independence and war struggles. As war raged, it became clear that the colonies were not just fighting for fair treatment. They were fighting for freedom itself. On July 4th, 1776, the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence, drafted by Thomas Jefferson. It declared that all men are created equal, with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. America had broken away from Britain, but declaring freedom was easier than winning it. General George Washington led the Continental Army through brutal winters, most famously at Valley Forge. The soldiers lacked food, clothing, and weapons. Many doubted they could win. Yet in 1777, a turning point came at Saratoga, where American forces defeated the British. This victory convinced France to join the war, sending ships, troops, and supplies that strengthened the fight for independence. Scene 6. Victory and Legacy. In 1781, Washington and his French allies trapped British General Cornwallis at Yorktown, Virginia. Surrounded and outnumbered, the British surrendered. The war was effectively over. 2 years later, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris officially recognized the United States of America as independent. 13 colonies had transformed into a free republic, but America's independence was more than a victory in battle. It was a revolution in ideas, the belief that governments exist to serve the people, not to rule them. These ideals inspired revolutions across Europe and beyond. From the courage of farmers at Lexington to the wisdom of leaders in Philadelphia, a new nation was born. A nation built on liberty, resilience, and hope for a brighter future. I know this can be a pretty intense topic for young learners, so if you want to learn more about the American Revolution, check out the additional resources provided. You can also keep exploring our channel for more educational videos. If you enjoyed this adventure, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, so you never miss an exciting episode. Thanks for watching.